My name is Indumati. I work as an assistant professor for the Department of Electronics and Communication at the Rajalakshmi Engineering College, Chennai. I am happy to participate in DigiGuru. The topic I have chosen to explain is modulation and demodulation, which is relevant to communication systems. To start with, what is communication? It is the process of conveying information from one place to another. In engineering terms, it is the process of transmitting messages between 2 points. For an example, as I speak, my voice, which is the audio signal, reaches the audience within the limited boundary, beyond which the signal weakens and fades away. Here the medium of transmission is air and the audience or the receivers, wherein the same audio signal which has to be sent across many miles, then a communication system is used. Now let me explain how a simple communication system works with a block diagram. The first block is the information source. In today's world, the information may be mainly classified as audio, video and data signals. The second stage is the input transducer. Transducer is a device which converts one form of energy into another. Here, the messages from the information source may or may not be electrical in nature. If it is not in electrical nature, then these messages are converted into electrical signals. For an example, in radio communication system, microphone converts the sound signals into electrical signals. The next stage is the transmitter. Transmitter is a collection of electronic components and circuits. It is designed to convert the message signals into a signal suitable for transmission. The main function of this transmitter is to process the signal in terms of modulation, amplification and also in boosting the power level of the signals. Modulation is the main function of this transmitter. Before I explain modulation, let me explain an analogy for modulation. If I wish to travel to a faraway town, I would not have an endurance to walk. Instead, I would prefer the transport system to get me to my destination. Similarly, the messages to be transmitted are weak in nature. Technically, it is of low frequency signals. Only high frequency signals have the capacity to travel at a long distance. Therefore, another signal which is having high frequency is required. It is called carrier signal because it is used to carry the messages. Before I explain or define what is modulation, let me explain one more analogy. If you consider this board, it is a rectangular shaped and it is white in color. These are some of the characteristics to describe the board. Similarly, if I take a sinusoidal carrier signal, the important features or characteristics of the signal are amplitude, frequency and then phase. To carry the messages through carrier signal, any of these characteristics will be varied with respect to message signals. If amplitude is varied, then it is called amplitude modulation. If frequency of the carrier is varied, then it is called frequency modulation, which is FM. And if phase of the carrier is varied, then it is called phase modulation, which is PM. So these are the types of modulation. By definition, modulation is the process of characteristics with respect to the message signal, instantaneous value of the message signal, varying any of the characteristic of carrier signal with respect to the instantaneous value of the message signal to be transmitted. The next stage is the channel. Channel is the medium through which the signals are transmitted between the transmitter and receiver. The channel may be wired or wireless. Example for wired medium are optical fiber, cables. Example for wireless medium, radio, TV. If wireless medium is preferred, then an antenna should be placed in the transmitter and the receiver to transmit the signals in the form of EM waves, electromagnetic waves. In the process of communication, the signals get distorted by an external noise. The next stage is the receiver. The main function of the receiver is to reproduce the message signal from the distorted received signal. The reproduction of the message signal from the modulated signal is accomplished by a process called demodulation or detection. So demodulation is the process of recovering the message signals. It is also a collection of electronic components and devices. Similar to transmitter, you have here the amplification process, and the reverse operation of modulation is performed here, that is demodulation. Though various frequencies are present in the channel, only the required frequencies received by the receiver. Next stage is the output transducer. As I said earlier, transducer converts one form of energy to another. Here the electrical signals will be converted into the original sound or picture. For an example, if in radio communication system, loudspeaker is used to convert the electrical signals into sound. Destination is the final stage of this communication system process. Example for this, radio and TV. Last but not the least, modulation and demodulation plays a vital role in the process of communication. Thank you for listening.